You're standing at a crossroads that almost everyone faces at some point in their life. You have some money saved, not a fortune, but enough to make a real decision. On one side is the idea of buying a house. On the other is continuing to rent. Most people will tell you that buying is the responsible choice, the smart investment, the thing that gives you stability and something to call your own. Renting, they say, is just throwing money away. But what if we stopped looking at this decision as it stands today, and instead looked at it from 15 or 20 years in the future? What if we asked not which choice is better right now, but which one actually shapes the life you end up living? Imagine you choose to buy. You put down what you can and take on a large mortgage. For the next 20 to 25 years, a significant portion of your income every month goes toward paying off that debt. At first, it feels like progress. You finally have a place that belongs to you. No more worrying about rent increases. No more moving every couple of years. Your children have a stable home. You feel like you've finally become the responsible adult you were supposed to be. But something subtle begins to happen. Once the mortgage is signed, a part of your future is no longer fully yours. Every month, a large fixed amount disappears from your income. Your financial flexibility shrinks. When an interesting opportunity appears, a new job in another city, a chance to start something on your own, or even a period of lower income while you figure things out, you hesitate. The house has become both an anchor and a weight. You start making decisions based on protecting the monthly payment, rather than protecting your own freedom and growth. Now let's look at what actually happens over 2 decades. Suppose you bought a home that cost 3 times your annual income back in 2026. After putting down 30%, you borrowed the rest over 20 years. By the time you finish paying it off, the total amount you handed over to the bank is nearly double the original price of the house. A large part of that money wasn't even paying for the house itself. It was paying for the right to borrow. But the real cost is rarely discussed. It's the opportunities you didn't take because your money and your decisions were tied to that house. It's the years you spent working jobs you didn't love just to keep the payments going. It's the investments you didn't make because your cash flow was locked into mortgage payments. While you were busy paying for the roof over your head, someone else who chose differently was using that same money to build income streams, skills, and options. Now consider the other path. You decide to keep renting for the next 15 to 20 years. At first, it feels uncertain. You don't have the same sense of ownership. You know that at some point you might have to move. Your housing costs can go up. There's no asset growing in value with your name on the title. But in exchange, you keep something that is often underestimated: optionality. You can change cities if a better opportunity appears. You can take a lower-paying job for a few years while you build something meaningful. You can reduce your housing expenses when needed, or upgrade when your income grows. Most importantly, the money that would have gone into a mortgage each month stays available. Some of it goes toward building real financial assets. Some of it goes toward experiences, learning, or taking calculated risks in your career or business. After 15 or 20 years, the difference between these two paths becomes clearer, not just in numbers, but in the shape of your life. Your net worth may look decent on paper, but your actual freedom feels smaller than you expected. Another version of you doesn't own a house, but has built a portfolio of investments, skills, and experiences. You have more control over how you spend your time and where you live. You can still buy a house later if you want to, but now you can do it from a position of strength rather than pressure. The question isn't really which choice makes you richer on a spreadsheet. The deeper question is, which version of your life do you actually want to look back on? Some people need the feeling of stability that comes with owning a home. They value putting down roots and knowing they won't have to move. For them, buying a house can be the right decision. Not because it's always the best financial move, but because it aligns with the life they want to live. Others place higher value on flexibility, on the ability to adapt, and on using their resources to create more options, rather than locking them into a single asset. For these people, continuing to rent while building wealth elsewhere can be the more powerful choice. There is no universal answer. There is only the answer that fits the person you are and the life you're trying to build. The house itself was never the real decision. The real decision was always about what you were willing to trade. and what you were not. Some people trade flexibility for the feeling of ownership. Others trade the feeling of ownership for the ability to design their life on their own terms. 20 years from now, when you look back, you probably won't remember the exact interest rate you paid or how much the house appreciated. You'll remember how free you felt to make changes in your life. You'll remember whether your housing decision supported the person you wanted to become or quietly held you back from becoming them. So before you decide whether to buy or keep renting, ask yourself a different question. If I look at my life 15 or 20 years from now, which version of me do I want to meet? The answer to that question will tell you what you should do with the money you have today.